Wow. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to apologize for a very bumpy video. This has kind of been the first minute that I've had this entire trip to be able to reasonably make a video without it costing me too much time. It's been pedal to the metal or just white gripping the steering wheel, depending on what I've been up to. First of all, let me say that I am very grateful, even though I have had a ton of different problems arise on this trip so far. So I left, okay, I should go even further back. My plan was to be able to take about 3 weeks off work to be able to go and do an Arctic hunting trip. That would have been the longest amount of time that I'd ever tried any kind of hunting trip, and I had all kinds of crazy supplies in order to accommodate it. There was a problem. I was not able to get that much time off work. In fact, I was able to get less than half that. So right out of the gate, I'm looking at my time constraint going from 22 days of hunting down to about 9. It's 9 days total for a trip. I mean, like I would have had over 2 weeks of just pure hunting. I'm in place, ready to hunt that whole time, but it didn't work out that way, unfortunately. So I had to pivot. I wanted to still be able to come, and I still wanted to be able to make this trip up into the Arctic and still be able to do all the hunting that I wanted to do. So what I've done is I took Saturday to reload and restock according to the kind of trip that I wanted to take. Because of the short amount of time that I have for this particular trip, part of the pivot that I had to do in order to accommodate the shorter timeline was that I thought that in order to save the time of hiking my gear out in trips over the tussocks to get 5 miles off the road, I was like, what if I take the gamble of taking Ducky, the family boat, the raft that I have practiced with going up a couple rivers like the Susitna and going up part of the Yukon River as well, which if you're following along with the story of the hunting season this year, you would have seen some of those Yukon videos, and I was able to get about 20 miles upriver before I was not out of gas, but used the amount of gas that I wanted to use based on my experience level and everything else. Anyway, that's a whole series right there if you guys want to go watch those too. But the point is that I've got some practice going upriver, and I was like, well, it could very well be worth it if I could take Ducky just a few miles, and I had mapped it out looking at what I could see on maps and looking at Google Earth to try and figure out how far I'd have to go to get off of the road those 5 miles, and then I could actually shoot with the rifle. Getting outside of the Dalton Highway corridor management area is more difficult than it might seem. Again, if you've watched previous videos and everything else, you'll know that I would rather walk 20 miles on an established trail, like an ATV trail or even a hiking trail, than I would rather walk 5 miles over tussocks in the Arctic. It is absolutely horrific. It is just very difficult. And I'll get some, just for funsies, I'll get some captured video of what it's like to try and walk over that nonsense. So the boat was away. I could just take the boat about 6 or 7 miles and at least be out the 5 miles away from the road so I can hunt with my rifle. Well, I left on Sunday. It's been a trip, man. I left on Sunday, and I thought I was doing pretty well. I had to stop and make a few adjustments, take a look at Ducky, make sure she was doing okay back there on the trailer, and get gas, those sorts of things on my way up. Now, thought I was doing pretty good. And right before I got over the Yukon River, coming north on the Dalton Highway, kind of where the Dalton switches over from the Elliott Highway, there was a huge amount of traffic. There was some kind of issue and a delay, and apparently it had been a delay that had been running since about 10 a.m. So, I mean, I was kind of lucky that I only got delayed a couple of hours instead of all day, like some people had been delayed more than 8 hours because of that particular traffic delay. I didn't get the full story. I'm hoping that there wasn't an accident or somebody got hurt, but there were many road crews out working, so it may have just been a road issue that they were trying to repair something. So I'm not complaining at all about that 2-hour delay. In fact, I took a nap for part of it, a much needed nap. And I was like, well, there's nothing to really report on here. No reason to make a video about a 2-hour delay. Well, okay. Once the delay was alleviated and we're able to finish driving, we meaning everybody else that was stuck in traffic with me, because this is a solo trip, we were able to, finish our drive. And there were people going south, there were people going north, there were people coming east and west. It looked like they had all been stopped and waited and everything else. Started making my way towards Coldfoot. Now, I don't really like to drive on the Dalton when it's dark. It's a very dangerous road. It's bumpy, as you can see. There's potholes, there's animals. And so I prefer to drive during the day where I feel like I've got better visibility, and it's safer in case I do have an issue that other people can see me as well. Now, I was doing just fine. At least I thought I was. And then all of a sudden I heard this heavy scraping sound. And I was like, well, that's not good. That heavy scraping sound was the trailer tongue had almost completely snapped in half and was dragging on the ground. I was kind of in shock because my son and I, we're always helping people. We're always, whenever anybody needs help out here in Alaska, in the wilderness, in town, somebody slipped, they're in the ditch, whatever the situation is, my son and I almost always are there to help whoever it is that we come across. A few exceptions would be like, okay, they've already got help. We're not in a position to help. But if we're in a position and then they don't have help yet, my son and I, we pull over, we help. And, we've kind of talked about like, man, we keep putting all this good karma out there and it never comes back around, but that's okay too, because it's just the right thing to do to stop and help people. Well, last night I needed help and somebody actually came around and I was like, well, dang, I'll take the turnaround on the karma there. That's awesome. So somebody helped and I was able to kind of do a Band-Aid fix to get the trailer at least off of the highway, get it down to some place that I'm not just pushing Ducky into a ditch. And I was able to get Ducky kind of like pushed onto an old ATV trail because I don't want to block any of the pipeline working roads either. There's lots of signage about those, so I can't put Ducky in that. So, I made my way the rest of the way to Coldfoot after I had got Ducky off the road. No longer a hazard on the road. And, I couldn't get Ducky 2 miles before the Band-Aid fix that this trucker and I had basically attached, for lack of a better term, to Ducky's trailer. So from there, I drove to Coldfoot and talked to them, and they said, hey, maybe the maintenance guys can help you out here. Maybe they can't. Talk to them in the morning. They'll be in at 8 a.m. Okay, cool. Is the kitchen open? They said yes. I was thrilled. When it was 11 o'clock at night, it had been dark for about 3 hours. and I was just happy to have some kind of refuge. The cafe at Coldfoot is an oasis for travelers, and it is the only place out here. They could be very rude if they'd like to be, because where else are you going to go? There's nothing else out here. It's hundreds of miles in any direction before you get to anything that's even remotely established, and it's definitely several hours in any direction before you could get another option. So it's not like they have to worry about you going somewhere else for their business. There's no competition. Regardless, they're still very nice. They were very polite to me. I was able to get some food, sleep in the truck, which is not my favorite, but I found a better way to do it, and got some good rest. And then I was able to get inside this morning and order some breakfast and talk to the maintenance guys. We're going to try and do a better fix for it, get it into their shop and weld it. I'll also say, because I'd be very remiss if I didn't take the time to also say that, like, hey, I have managed to make a lot of friends out here. There were a whole team of explorers, adventurers, and I loved the adventurous heart that all of these people had. I got some pictures with them. We shared some pictures. We had breakfast together. It was really cool. It was really fun to just like meet a bunch of people and hear their stories about where they were coming from and kind of talk about what I was doing and explain things. The main goal it seemed like they had coming up was that they were looking for the Northern Lights. They want to see the Aurora Borealis. And so I kind of showed them some pictures from recent trips that I'd had, like the Yukon trip, where I got to see them. And I was like, keep your head up. I know it's a little cloudy today, but maybe you'll get lucky. Maybe there'll be a good break in the clouds and you'll be able to see something. They were so wonderful. And I really don't like plug my YouTube channel, but we were exchanging so many pictures and talking about things and everything else that I was like, look, check out the channel, like it's Adams, Alaska, and you'll be able to see some cool pictures and videos. And I was like, sometimes it's just me talking, like right now, where you don't get to see a lot of Alaska, but I got to fill you in on everything that's going on. So I was like, okay, as far as like crisis management goes, I'm okay. Ducky is okay. We have a fix for the trailer that could be in the works, and right now it's only looking like it's going to cost me a day. So this is not so bad. Ducky could have flipped over. The trailer could have come off and whipped around and hit me. I could have damaged the truck. I could have got hurt. There could have been somebody behind me that ran into it. I mean, just 100 different things that could have been worse than they are right now. And I could have dealt with some very difficult people along the way. But instead, everybody has been very kind. Everyone has been very generous. And everyone has been like, wow, okay, this is the unique situation that you have yourself in, a little trick, a little problem. How do we fix this? And I'm just like, that is pretty cool, man. So Coldfoot, everybody that I've met there has really made the worst day that I've had hunting or adventuring this last 2 years a lot better. So, woo! What a ride. Wish me luck. I'm going to need it. I'm going to need a lot of luck that we're able to get this fabricated fix installed correctly and get to Coldfoot where I can have them weld it and get me back on the road, back in the fight, trying to get caribou in the Arctic. I'm really hoping that some of my new friends got to watch this too. See ya.